Good morning, HogTide Risers. Well, it's a crisp minus 11, minus 12 morning here in Vernon, British Columbia, and I have an appointment at 97 Customs. Welcome to the HogTide Rising channel, an insight into nomadic van life, seen through the eyes of a long-time touring motorcyclist. It's a van conversion shop in Vernon, British Columbia that I heard about on the Foresty Forest channel. I've been by here, talked to Calvin, the owner, and today he is going to be installing some electrical outlets into the van. A couple of weeks ago while I was in Calgary, I had a 300 amp alternator installed in the van that provides me a ton of power, but I just wasn't able to get that power effectively to my accessories. The last time I was here, a week or so ago, Calvin checked out the project, decided what he needed to order. I came back to Vernon to get it installed. Morning, Calvin.
Oh, you got me on camera already. I
I
didn't even have my makeup done, Jim.
So, HogTide Risers, this is Calvin DeBoer. He is the owner of 97 Customs.
That's me.
In Vernon. How long you been in business here?
About a year and a half, I'd say.
As I mentioned earlier, I met or encountered Calvin and his shop on a Foresty Forest video. How's things been going from your exposure with Foresty?
I've gotten a very good amount of response out of that video for sure, for a nice quick little cameo in there. So no, I appreciate him putting me in the video. It's given me a good kick in the exposure category for sure.
Well, you won't get near the exposure from my little channel, but every little bit helps.
I definitely am not afraid of the YouTube.
So this is what Calvin's going to be installing. Here we have a 400 watt inverter. So that'll be going in the front of the cab of the van. So that'll give me two good AC outlets. And this next unit here, this is going into the back of the van. So it's a panel, and it's got three DC outlets and then a on-off switch that'll turn all of them either on or off. And then this piece here, this goes into the front of the van and gives me two 12-volt DC outlets, gives me a voltage meter, and then an on-off switch, and they're all going through relays. And then this is a fuse block and a disconnection breaker. So this is what Calvin will be installing into the van. So it's not as easy as just running a wire from the battery and putting in a 12-volt outlet and hoping it's all going to work. That's why I brought it here. That's why I'm having Calvin do the work. Get somebody that actually knows what they're doing to do it right, so that I won't end up with a disaster sometime down the road and my van, which is my home, catching fire and leaving me in a lurch.
This is your main shut off for your fuse block here. The best place to really put this is kind of up in the passenger footwell. So I ran all the wires over there, and we're gonna put some Velcro and Velcro this right to the carpet, so that if it ever needs to come out, we don't put any new holes in the van, and it's easy to remove, easy to take out if you need to change something or work on it.
So these parts are the on-off switch and...
Yeah, so this is your 100 amp protection breaker. So this also works as a on-off switch. So say if there is ever a problem with the system, you can just cut that off right there. You don't need another disconnect, because that is a disconnect. Okay. And then this is your fuse block. So you'll have your typical automotive blade fuses for each of your circuits. So you're gonna have three, one for this unit, one for this unit, and one for this unit. And then you'll have three extras for down the road if you want to add something else. You'll have, everything's going to be sized for the maximum amount of this, which is 100 amps. Each one of these is going to be running off of 30.
I'm impressed. The safety guards and everything is awesome. That's
the easiest way to prevent a fire, is to have proper fusing and protection on your circuits, because as soon as they get over, heat is usually what draws all the amperage, and heat is what causes the fire. So if you can eliminate that, as soon as you cut power, you're a happy camper.
This is the reception area for 97 Customs. It's a great little place to come up and sit while you're waiting for work to be done.
So here's the plate that I talked about. So this will run in from the battery and then tie into your power and your ground, and then all your other units will tie in there. And then here's the one that's going to go in the dash. So this is just a little plywood bracket I built. And then this one here is for the back. And I built it out, box it out so that it can cover all the wiring, and this will hang up inside the back there and have your 12 volts on the switch. So we'll get those all installed next.
I can hardly wait to see it all nicely installed. Calvin, tell me about what you've installed back here in the bed compartment of the van.
Yeah, so back here we got 3 12-volt cigarette plugs, or just 12-volt plug-ins. They're on a switch and a 30 amp breaker, or a 30 amp fuse with a relay, because the switches are only rated for 20 amp. Yeah, so that's what's going on in the back.
What I'll be using this for is for my Jackery 1000. So for charging, it will be plugged into this box here. And the red light, that's the on-off switch. The other 2 outlets, one will be for my Igloo thermoelectric cooler. And then the third plug-in is just a reserve. I'll be using that box. It was a critical part of the installation that I really needed. Higher amperage DC outlets in the back of the van. Now in the front, this is a really sweet little installation here. So Calvin, tell us about it.
Yeah, so this is another 30 amp system that's separate from the one in the back. It's on its own on its own fuse, and it has its own switch, and it also has a voltmeter on it, so that you're able to see what your van battery is at. So if you do realize that you've left it on or whatever, you can just quickly flip that on and see what your voltage is. It actually gives you a proper voltage readout, and it has again 2 more 12-volt sockets for charging.
What I have in the front of my van is I have a 30-quart, a Bouge RV 30-quart refrigerator. During the day, I would have plugged directly into this and running as needed. And then during the evening, of course, then I would plug it into the Jackery 500. And that's what the other outlet there is for charging my Jackery 500. Now, this was a really nice installation, a custom installation that Calvin did. He utilized the space in the van that was just a little shelf with nothing in there and not being used for anything, and now found a perfect home for this custom panel that he constructed for this.
This is the 400 watt inverter. It's just got a little on-off switch on the bottom of it, and then so you got 2 plug-ins up to 400 watts. Good for Jim for his hot logic. Heat up his lunch or his dinner while he's driving.
It's an AC heated lunchbox, and I can use that to heat up frozen dinners and all sorts of stuff. It's looking like everything I asked for. You have anything else to show me?
Yeah, so that's just your main fuse panel and your main disconnect for what we installed today. So that's a 100 amp breaker coming straight off the battery, and then that's running into a Blue Sea 6-point ground and power center there, which has typical automotive blade fuses in it. And they're all labeled up for each device, and he's got room for 3 more if he decides in the future he needs to add some more stuff.
Now you might be wondering why everything wasn't hidden away more. The simple fact of the matter is this is a no-build van, and this van has been set up from the start so that when I sell it, when I decide to upgrade, that everything can be taken out if necessary. So all these things are basically mounted with Velcro, and so it's a quick and easy removal if I had to do it. However, probably the next owner of this van will be a Vanlifer, and they are probably going to be very appreciative of the things that I've added. So all this electrical work that Calvin has done, it was sort of made necessary because I decided to install a 300 amp alternator. I had all the power I needed, but no place to put it. Now I've got all the power I need, and I've got outlets, and I've got ways to use that power effectively. The bill part, that's going to be the scary part, but Calvin does good work and a reasonable rate, and I'm sure while it might be a little bit of wallet shock, the work and everything is more than I'd hoped for. Let's go pay the bill.
All right, sounds good.
All right, Calvin, well, thanks a lot. I sure appreciate all the work you've done, and I think it's going to really serve me well. Well, we'll be giving it the acid test tomorrow. We're on the road. Well, my business here at 97 Customs is done for now. It was a full day's work. For tonight, I'll be heading back to the Real Canadian Superstore in the northern part of Vernon, and I'll be spending another night there. It's life in a tin tent, but it's going to be a much better life because now I have some really good power outlets that will really help me out living comfortably in a tin tent.